Hello there, and welcome to another great segment of Cityline. It is always a pleasure and a privilege to be in your home. Hey, we're zooming from my kitchen, and we have a great hour ahead of us. Later on, we'll be talking with, the Asia Pacific Cultural Center. It is time for Chinese New Year, and nobody celebrates it better than them. So Lua will be here, Dr. Louie will be here, and Betty Chen will be here to talk about that event. Kira Dobek, she is the Executive Director for the Washington Trafficking Prevention. She will be here to talk about programs that they have that help you understand how you can stand in the solution and prevent human trafficking here in our city. Associated Ministries has big news, and I'm not going to spill the tea, but you need to hang out and find out what they are doing to stand in the solution for those who are unhoused. The Tacoma Humane Society Pet of the Week, or Whitney, will be here showing us a beautiful soul that needs a forever home. And with me right now is someone who I am delighted to get to know. I feel like I already know this person because I never miss a city council meeting. Would you please join me in welcoming brand new council member for District 5, our own Joe Bushnell. Joe, welcome to Cityline.
Hi, Amanda. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, it is so great to have you on here. And I told you, I watched you last night in the city council meeting, and you are one cool cucumber, I gotta say. Joe, tell us about your background and what it is that you bring to the table as a brand new city council member for District 5.
Yeah, thank you. I was born and raised in Tacoma, right over at St. Joe's back in 1989, and not too long ago for some, really long time for others. I have lived in all over Tacoma, and in recent years I've settled out here in South Tacoma. I'm a graduate of Stadium High School back in 2008, and go Tigers. And my mother is a Cambodian refugee from Southeast Asia. It's coming out of the Cambodian genocide. There's a lot of folks that fled from that, and so I'm half Cambodian. On my father's side, we have a lot of deep roots here in Tacoma. My great grandfather used to blow stumps out of the out of the hillside with dynamite back in the days, and a lot of the curb cuts over in the north end. He owned a contracting business and was out there putting out the curb cuts and stuff like that. So got a lot of history here. I've spent over a decade in the Marine Corps. I worked in logistics with ammunition. My most recent time was in the reserves here at JBLM, actually, and I was a company gunnery sergeant where I was in charge of like 150 other Marines, making sure things were happening, people were getting things done, and it was a really rewarding experience. But after 11 years, I was like, I think it's time to move on. My body is starting to break down. I'm only 32, but things are happening that I just couldn't quite keep up with, and so I was like, okay, what can I do to serve in other ways? And other opportunities came up.
Joe, you are homegrown. You mean, oh my goodness. And boy, I gotta say this, there can be no other better training than and first off, thank you for your service to our country.
Thank you.
There can be no other better training than to be in charge of ammunition and then parlay it into being a city council member. Wow.
Dealing with some explosive situations.
Sometimes there's some very explosive conversations that happen at city council meetings and in those chambers, and it's all good. You were elected in November of 2021. Congratulations. What inspired you to run? What made you think, wow, this is my next step?
Yeah, I've I've seen people like volunteer and be a part of the community since I was a young boy. I used to live part of my childhood. I lived in Salishan with my mother, and there would be community workers that would come out and try to support the Cambodian community. Teach them English, support them. Helping them acquire food, become citizens, and I really looked up to a lot of those folks as like almost like saviors coming in to help us, and I've really, it's kind of taken me forward. And in high school, I had some really fantastic mentors that really instilled volunteerism and community in me. I was a part of a group called JROTC at Stadium, and we were out there like picking up litter off the streets. We were, doing donations for books, doing all kinds of community service work, and that really inspired me to continue to serve in other ways. And it led me to the military. After I'd come back, I really believe that service to the community and others is one of the highest callings a person could make. So I continued to like, okay, what next can I do to help and serve and support the community and do, make this world, we have a finite time on earth, all of us. And so we want to have the best time for myself and for others, as we can. And so I started volunteering with like the neighborhood council, doing, volunteer stuff there. And then, it's just one thing led to another.
Well, I got to tell you, your mama and your daddy did a great job on you. Service above self is one of the most noble things that you can tap into. And it has a way of just aligning and realigning your priorities. When you look around and say, I can stand in the solution every single day and make my community a better place. So when you were out there campaigning and knocking on doors, Joe, what were some of the issues that residents shared with you as you campaigned?
Yeah, it was a lot of the same issues that I myself have been seeing out in the community, and I was really glad to hear, like, it's not the greatest things that are going on, but it's glad to hear that we're all on the same page on what the issues are. Public safety is a huge concern for a lot of folks. Street racing, as well as supporting and helping our houseless folks to get the resources they need to get them off the street. That's very common themes throughout the entire district, and something that I am very passionate about doing my best to help solve.
Oh, absolutely. Boy, you've covered all those bases there. District 5, which you represent and serve, which includes parts of South Tacoma, the
Mhm.
South End, and East Tacoma. Wow, it is what a diverse district you have. What are some of the challenges that are unique to that diverse district?
Yeah, it's very diverse. Not only just geographically, you have I-5 that cuts through, and it kind of creates this artificial barrier in the city that it's like on the South Tacoma side, there isn't any major grocery store. We do have a grocery outlet down on South Tacoma Way and 56th Street, but it's kind of small. So a lot of folks have to travel either into Lakewood or all the way over into the South End to find a grocery store or even a pharmacy. For that matter, there's no major pharmacy here down in South Tacoma at all, so we have to travel outside this pocket. The east side is way out there over near Midland, basically, and that's a whole nother environment and another like level of differences, and it's just and not only that, but uh, there's just so many different populations of individuals and folks and families that live in our community as well, and so trying to tackle everybody's issues. It's been a lot of folks have the same issues, so even with that diversity, we do have a lot of common issues. So I'm happy to try and make do what we got to do to solve those.
Well, and I love that you are a lifelong resident of Tacoma and a proud resident of South Tacoma for the past 5 years. You have such history to our community, which of course includes serving as the South Tacoma Neighborhood Council. You are also a member of the Tacoma Public Utility Board, which you had Jackie Flowers on last night talking about the moratorium that will be ending soon when it comes to utilities. You've talked about why community service influenced you growing up, but why is it important going forward? Joe, with your background, you could do anything. You could do anything internationally. Why here?
I love Tacoma. I've seen the world. The world is fantastic, and I love visiting it. But in my mind always came back to Mount Rainier backdrop, to Commencement Bay, to our fantastic residents here in Tacoma. There's so many passionate and compassionate people here that it's like I can't imagine living anywhere else. I can't imagine raising a family anywhere else. And I really was like, when I was looking for a home, I was like, my criteria is it has to be in Tacoma. There's no other place for me to be. And so that I just love the city, and I really want to see it thrive. And it's a world-class city, and I'm really looking forward to setting it up to be the best version of itself that it can be.
I want more of this, Joe, at the city council meetings that I'm seeing right now. I was telling my producer, Fred, I said, I've been watching him and he holds his cards very close to his chest. I don't ever see him flinch. I don't see him raise an eyebrow. I don't see him swallow his words that are right there that he wants to say. So I'm looking at the joy on your face and the glow in your eyes. And I'm feeling like, wow, we elected the right person for this job. I know that there are many, many things right now that are facing us, Joe, in this city. What are your top 3 goals that you would like to focus on as a council member?
Yeah, the things that I ran on, and what my community has brought to the front. Public safety, housing affordability, helping and supporting homelessness services, and really having a safe place for people to live and work. A lot of folks have to travel outside the district in order to find good work. I want to bring some of those jobs closer to home. We really have a lot of underlying issues that we need to take care of, and bringing good jobs and supporting the schools and things of that nature. There's really, in terms of public safety, I look at Pacific Avenue, I look at Hosmer, and I look at South Tacoma Way as kind of really hotbeds of areas of focus. And I'm really looking forward to working with the neighborhood councils, working with the Safe Streets groups and others to come together as a community and really help solve a lot of these issues, and working with the health department and the police department and others to really kind of create an environment where crime just does not flourish, and we have safe places for our kids to be able to go to parks and their schools and not have to worry about them.
Yes, yes. Our beloved Mayor Woodards declared this the year of hope and healing. And when I hear you talk, it gives me hope. And I know that you, in your lifetime, have had things you've had to heal from. And there's a saying that says, bad politicians are elected by good people who don't vote. And when it comes to you, Joe, all the good people got together and voted. And it just makes me so happy to get to know you and to see the look in your eye when you talk about your community and your city. So, Joe, you have an open invitation, as every council member does, to be on this show. And I thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy day to be here. And I'll be watching and throwing some hearts your way as I'm watching virtually on the city council meetings. Deal?
Deal, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on here. And before I go, I definitely want to say Happy Lunar New Year to the community out there. It's the year of the tiger. I know you had mentioned that earlier. But it's a really big holiday for a lot of Asian communities across the world. We celebrate it in different ways. And best of luck and health to everyone and their families. And let's make this the best year we can.